Hello, everyone. Welcome to Body Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven77. And, I'm sure you already know, but this is just for those who might not know that this week is theme week. And the theme of this week is unusual killers. Now, usually you think of something that's going to kill you in a horror movie, you think of um, ghosts or werewolves or zombies or vampires or slashers or whatever else. These are things you would not think of that would actually kill you. And the one that I decided to pick was this one is a trip. What year did this come out? 1978. And the one I decided to go with is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Now, this is the kind of movie you are either on the bus or you are not. This movie is, it's very, very decisive. Either you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Personally, I love it. I watched this when I was a little kid, and I admit the very first time I watched it, it did actually scare me. Of course, I was like 3 years old, and of course, to a 3 year old, it's like you don't understand the way the world works, So yeah, this movie did actually kind of creep me out the first time I watched it, but then as I started getting older, realizing like how incredibly ridiculous this movie really is, you either just let yourself go along with it or you just abandon it altogether. But the story is, it follows basically kind of like the story of a lot of, kind of classic, almost like B creature features, horror films from from the 50s or 60s or what have you. Tomatoes, for whatever reason, just decide that they're going to start eating people. And like at the very beginning of the movie, you got this, it's morning. There's this woman in this house and she's just washing dishes. And then all of a sudden, out of the garbage chute, a full tomato pops up. And the tomatoes always make funny noises. Like, yeah, 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 no, yeah, yeah. And so, so the tomato starts rolling on the floor towards her. She's like, ah. And then you get the theme song, which, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So then we're introduced to our main character, whose name is Mason Dixon, and he's basically assigned to investigate like what is going on, and why are tomatoes going around killing people? How are tomatoes actually going around killing people? And of course, then you got the president. He's trying to figure out what's going on. You got Mason. He's assigned with this guy Finletter, who is Finletter's always dressed up. He's got this he's basically always dressed up as a paratrooper, and he's always got every time he walks around, his parachute's already deployed. So everywhere this guy goes, he carries his he's always dragging his parachute along with him. And he's assigned with some other people too, and they're having these meetings, and you can tell this is very much modeled after like I said, the kind of like the atomic kind of like sci-fi monster movies from the 50s or 60s. You got except everything has a comedic turn to it. Like you have the scene where all the general from the military and the scientists, they're going into a room and sitting down having meetings discussing like what's going on, why are tomatoes going around killing people and everything else. But they add a little twist that the room is so incredibly small, and that the room is barely big enough to have this table and the chairs in it, and everybody has to like crawl along the table and stuff like that. And of course, like a throwback joke to kind of to Godzilla movies and stuff like that. Because you see a lot of Godzilla movies, you see people, you see scientists and army people and everything. They're standing around or they're sitting and they're talking about Godzilla, but you have like an Asian scientist who's very badly dubbed, which that's probably another thing. I imagine a lot of people nowadays probably figured this movie's insensitive and politically incorrect, but at one point, he's very badly dubbed, and that it's intentional, though. And so he's in there. Technically, sir, tomatoes are fags, and the guy fruits. Yes, fruits. So I was saying, nowadays probably people would think this is very insensitive and very politically incorrect, but you have like a scene where the military is getting and the thing is like the more people that the tomatoes eat, the bigger they get. So, you get these tomatoes, they grow to enormous sizes. And everybody's trying to figure out what can you do to stop it. And it's like they're trying to you know, they're shooting at the tomatoes, they're trying to blow them up. You know, you got like you basically got like a scene that's kind of like a Jaws kind of spin off where these people, they're swimming in a lake, and then all of a sudden you see the tomatoes floating up, and everything, and you hear and people are being pulled under like Jaws, as if they were being eaten by sharks or piranhas or things like that. Um, you have a scene where you have a boy and a dog, they're out fishing and everything, and it's kind of like a funny takeoff on the old cartoon David and Goliath, where he was like, the dog gets up and you see the dogs going off, they hear something, he goes off and everything else, and the boy's like, what's going on? I don't know, Davy. And so, oh my god, no, and all this stuff. So and then the one thing that we come to find out is that there's this one song that like goes, I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers. I promise I'm trying not to. But as the movie goes along, there's this one song, and it's called Puberty Love. And it's horrid. It's like the worst song you could ever imagine. I mean, it's all like is almost as bad as like Justin Bieber music. But anyway, it's like, puberty love. But anyway, so, and the thing is like whenever like there are scenes where like Mason Dixon, he doesn't get it. It's like the big tomato's about ready to attack him and eat him up and all this kind of stuff. And just when it's about to, the song will come on, like it'll come on the radio or something like that, or it'll come out, it'll come out of a window or something. And you just hear puberty, and it's like it would make the tomato go away. And it's like, can Mason Dixon figure this all out? That, the only thing that could really stop it is, this song. But we come to find out, though, too, there's an added element to this, that Dixon and Finletter are trying to, they're trying to solve the mystery of what's going on. Why are the tomatoes killing people? Who's behind it? Is anybody behind it? And things like that. And so there's kind of, that goes off into another area. And then, you got, meanwhile, you got Mason Dixon, who basically, to me personally, I think he kind of bears very much like almost like a John Belushi kind of a resemblance. To me, he does anyway. But he's trying to investigate, but at the same time, there's a reporter named Lois Fairchild, and of course, a reporter named Lois. So there's a few Superman jokes going around, and and she's trying to she's trying to get the story, like, what's going on, what's happening. She won't, but he won't, he won't give up the story. A lot of it's because he doesn't know anything. But at the same time, though, too, it's like another thing going into what I was saying, like in this day and age, now people would probably find this movie very offensive and very politically incorrect because the editor of the newspaper that she works for, he's saying, you have a fine sense of style, you have, a good work ethic, you have a good head on your shoulders, you have a great ass, things like that. So, and then at one point, she calls the editor and, I can't get any information about, what's going on with the whole tomato crisis. Mason Dixon, he's not giving up anything. And so, he tells her, use your charm, you're a woman, basically like, do what you got to do to get the story. Even if you got to sleep with the guy, do what you got to do to get the story out of him and stuff. So, basically kind of like that. But overall, it's like the thing about this movie is just, I mean, right there, it tells you, the title tells you, everything tells you about this. Don't take this movie seriously at all, because you are really going to have a miserable time with this movie watching it. Go in. When I say shut your brain off, I don't mean just shut it off. I mean, wipe the hard drive too. Clear it out. Because if you go into this expecting a very thoughtful, intelligent, well thought out, well-made movie, I mean, it's competently made. But if you're going in expecting like, pure artistic cinema verite, boy, are you going to be disappointed. Go into this, I mean, the title right there, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That tells you everything you need to know about this movie. Okay, don't go in taking this thing seriously. You will be miserable if you do. Go into it, and if you're not into I don't want to call it dumb, but if you're not into just really flat out, just, goofball comedy, just, if you're not willing to just shut your brain off and go in and have a good laugh at this thing, you're gonna be miserable. So ultimately, that's the best advice I can give. I mean, personally, I like the movie. It spawned a bunch of sequels. There's Return of the Killer Tomatoes with pre-movie star George Clooney and John Aston from Adam's Family. You got what else was there? Killer Tomatoes Strike Back. Killer Tomatoes, was it Eat France or Eat Paris or something like that? They made a few of these, and there was even actually a cartoon of it at one point. But just overall though, just if you're the kind of person you don't have a sense of humor, you can't like let your you can't let your guard down. You can't just say, okay, this is stupid. But you know what? I just try to go along with it and just turn my brain off and have a good laugh at it, and just kind of try to buy into it as much as you possibly can in a situation like this. Just try to have fun with it. That's the best advice I can give you. The movie, it is low budget. It's it's not, like I said, it's competently made, but I mean, it's not. If you're going into this hoping for, great, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola type filmmaking, boy, again, are you going to be disappointed. Just go into this movie and try to have a good time with it. Don't take it seriously. Be ready. You gotta like, you gotta be into movies basically like Airplane, or Zucker Brother movies, or maybe even some of the Wayans Brothers movies. You got to be into stuff like that to enjoy this movie. And if you do, you're not opposed to it. Yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. But this movie, I think it's a good movie. I enjoy it. I think a lot of it too is this is actually, even though I don't think this movie was intended for kids, this is actually a very good movie to get kids to watch. Actually, the reason, just personally, that's what I think, because it's so silly and so ridiculous, it's so cartoony that it just seems like it plays well to a child. But I mean, that was the thing. I watched it when I was real little, and like I said, the first time I saw it, it scared me. But after that, I started watching, I started getting the jokes and everything. I enjoy it, and I enjoy it to this day, and I have a lot of fun with this movie, and hopefully everybody else does too, who sees it. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, just, like I said, just try to have fun with it. Don't take it seriously, because yeah, you're going to have a bad time. Like the ski instructor on South Park. If you take this movie seriously, you're going to have a bad time. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. That's about all I got. But anyway, so if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Body Bags channel. There's a different reviewer every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. We got great guys. Everybody's doing great stuff. We're always trying to look to expand on, our president, James. He's always looking to try to expand on the channel all the time. So yeah, come on back and hopefully, enjoy yourself, enjoy the videos. And so that's it. Everybody have a good night, and I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.